What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much, Matthew Berry and Rad Robbie Roller. First ones in the chat. How are you guys doing today? Thank you so much for joining along. Thank you for the hashtag, Matthew Berry. Join the flock. Hopefully I'll have my top soon, so you'll get to see my new design live and in person. Shashank Bandari, how are you doing? Good to see you in the chat again. James Cartwright. Already straight in with the questions. James Cartwright looking at Sanchez until Kane double game week. Would I say that's a good shout? I don't know. Arsenal are very on and off, but then again, so are Tottenham Hotspurs and Harry Kane. So, what are Arsenal's fixtures looking like? Arsenal have Newcastle, Liverpool, Palace, West Brom before the double game week. So, only one really tough fixture in there. Sanchez could potentially put in some returns, but I mean, Newcastle next, that's always good when it's Newcastle next. As far as Spurs are concerned, Burnley and Southampton. Burnley away isn't necessarily a great game, purely because Burnley are very good defensively at home. So potentially, at least for the next two, Southampton are capable of shipping in quite a few against themselves. So Kane could do well in game week 20, but then has the 21 blank game week. So that could work out really well for you. But Arsenal don't seem to be the most reliable team right now. So I'm not too sure about that one. Matthew Berry, bring Mahrez in. I'll be honest, Mahrez has looked very, very good. It looks like he still wants to prove he's one of the best players in the league. My issue with Mahrez right now is, if I have a look at Leicester's fixtures, Crystal Palace, Man United, Watford, Liverpool, Huddersfield. Now that Palace and Huddersfield game, both at home, I like. Man United, good defence, unlikely to score. Although, to be honest, Leicester seem to score against everyone. Watford, that's going to be competitive, so it could be high scoring. And then Liverpool away. Liverpool at home are decent, so potentially no points there. So the fixture list is very, very mixed for Leicester. And I think last time we looked his goal threat, Mahrez wasn't the highest for goal threat, with 11 attempts in the last 6 game weeks, where there's players with, like, unless I am just completely missing his name. Where are you, mate? There's Mahrez. As far as big chances created, again, Mahrez isn't standing out as one of the best options. Mahrez actually only has 1 big chance created, compared to the likes of Son, Ramsey, Tadic, De Bruyne, Salah, Silva, Martial and Sigurdsson, all 3 or more. And then as far as assists go, that's where Mahrez has been getting some decent points, as far as I'm aware. Although, again, don't see his name jumping out at me. Or Brighton, in fact, has had more assists. Is that serious? Where is he? There he is. 1 total assist. So, whilst he's been quietly getting points, his underlying stats are pretty average. So, I don't think it will continue. But remember, I said this similar thing about David Silva, how I thought he'd drop off in performance. But David Silva's underlying stats have continued to be decent, whereas Mahrez's underlying stats aren't. So I'm a bit worried that he will suddenly stop scoring those points. 29 people viewing already. Thank you guys so much for all the support right now. This is going, the whole stream thing's going really well. So thank you guys so much for jumping on. Tom Bennett, how's it going, mate? How you doing? Bram Ono Nilsson, is that another Norwegian? Apologies if you're not Norwegian, but we've got a couple of Norwegians in our flock that join together when I stream. Ismail Mayer, hi Jeno, I'm Captain Kane, he will score. We'll see about that. If I don't captain him, then you'll probably be laughing. Alan Arjadinovic, who do I captain, Hazard, Salah or Kane? You know what? I'm really worried Salah's going to be rested, so I would potentially look at Hazard. But from what I hear, and let me check the Chelsea team news, Morata may or may not start. Antonio Conte revealed the forward has trained over the past 2 days and is in contention to return against Southampton following a minor back problem. So we'll see. That wasn't what I'd heard yesterday, but if Morata's playing, I fancy Hazard to do well. As far as Liverpool team news and Spurs team news, does it look like rest for Salah? Yeah, there's nothing concrete. In the press conference, he didn't say anything to suggest he would rest Salah, but he's also not said anything to suggest he was definitely going to play him. So it's not absolutely nailed on with Salah. So I'd probably go Hazard. As far as Spurs, their team news, Kane looks favourite to be played again. Heung-min Son is also expected to keep his place, which is good news for me. So I would say out of those three, I would go with Eden Hazard. Steve Shotton in the chat, how are you doing? Happy life. Don't think I've seen you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. By the way, guys, if you're joining the stream and I'm not answering your question straight away, it's because I'm behind on the stream. It happens every stream. So many questions get asked. I get into detail about the questions. So just be patient and wait, and I will get to your questions. Also, if you have joined the stream and you want me to answer your questions, you love the input we put in here, as well as the people in the chat, please hit that like button. Share it on Twitter. It's Christmas. Why not? Share the love. Alan Arjadanovic. Who do I replace instead of Ward? Budget 5.3 million. Is Phil Jones close to 5.3 if you don't have Phil Jones? Let's have a look at defenders. So if we go about the 5.4 range, you want to replace Ward. You've got Maguire. I've already talked about the fixtures. They're quite mixed. Leicester don't really keep clean sheets, but Maguire could get you some attacking returns. We've got Phil Jones at 5.4, just 0.1 too expensive for you. If it's the injury to Ward that you're worried about, there's plenty of options in that Burnley defence you could look at who could do the job for you, like me, should be coming back in. Tarkowski might get dropped now that me's coming back. Loughton. So there's plenty of options there in that Burnley side. You've then also got Norton, who a lot of people don't like Swansea at the moment, but he's got 59 points. In that budget range, at 4.6 million, he's not doing too bad. Mustafi's just too expensive for you. He should be coming back shortly. Other than that, you could look at Gomez, but he's got a knock on him. And he's not exactly 100% nailed on. West Ham have looked a lot better recently. Cresswell's 5 million. If you think he can get the kind of returns he used to get from assists and from crosses, he could be one for you as well. And I'd say that's probably the main players I'll be looking at. Potentially Ogbonna and Masaku could come up really well from the West Ham side as well. Now their defence is a lot more organised. So those are kind of the players I would be looking at if I was you. Daniel Otembo thinks bringing Coutinho instead of Mahrez. I'm still of the opinion that if you have Mohamed Salah, do you need Coutinho? Do you need that much Liverpool coverage? 2 Liverpool players in midfield? Although some people have done Sterling and Silva and it's been working out well for them. JP43 really wants Morata and Richarlison to do well because loads of people transferred them out. Speaking of Richarlison, we'll look at what his team news is. It looks like Richarlison could start. Richarlison is available despite his withdrawal at Selhurst Park with an apparent groin problem. Head coach, where does it say what he thinks about him? Doesn't have anything else, but it says it looks like he could definitely start. He's on the predicted lineup for Watford, so I'm hoping Richarlison does well because he might be a bit of a differential for me, which of course is always appreciated as we continue to climb up the rankings. Kiko Dantes, gargantuan knowledge yet again from your hideout, far, far beyond are, is that Ortcloud, Gomez or Pope? Help. I love Pope. I love the Burnley defence right now. As far as actual keeping stats, if I do go and have a look, saves made, De Gea is, if you can afford De Gea, although he's starting to get to that point where you probably won't be able to afford him anymore. You know what? Gomez has got 16 saves to Pope's 14. Is also £0.2 million cheaper. And clean sheet wise, he's got 2 so far at the last 6. And Pope has 3. So, strictly speaking, I prefer Burnley's defence. I think Burnley's team is a lot more organised. I personally think Watford do concede goals. As far as goals conceded, Gomez has conceded 8. Pope has conceded 3. So I'd love Nick Pope until Tom Heaton comes back. Then it's going to be a bit difficult because Tom Heaton, although he may have dropped in price now, which if he has dropped in price would be nice. But 4.8 million, Pope by that point could be the same price. But will Tom Heaton actually play when that time does come? That would be the question. Steve Shotton says, good news on Morata and Richarlison. Bram Ono Nilsson, who's captain, Hazard or Salah? I'm saying Hazard despite his disappointing last game week. Desiree Charija is in. Ismail Mayet says Richarlison is injured. Let me know where you're getting your news from, because I've got Richarlison down as being potentially available to play, and that the only worry that Marco Silva has is the fact that he is a bit tired, so he might get rested. But as far as I'm reading, Richarlison is not injured. One more person watching and we will hit 40, by the way. And there we have it. 40's just jumped on the screen, although my YouTube is saying 39 still. Those numbers never seem to match up. Warang Production, Aguero in or out? For me, I think it is overplayed, Pep Guardiola's rotation. I think the midfield you can predict well enough. It's Aguero and Jesus that I don't think you can predict that well. So I would personally stay away from Aguero and Jesus until one of them gets injured. As soon as one of them gets injured, the other one suddenly becomes a very important player in the Fantasy Premier League. Happy Life, is it good to invest in West Ham defenders? I'd say from their last 2 performances against 2 big sides, potentially. However, players do often raise their game for London derbies or derbies in general and for big games. So I would like to see one more good performance from West Ham before I jump on that train, that West Ham train, and enjoy the benefits that could potentially be there from the double game week. Although, if they keep a clean sheet against Spurs, that is going to hurt a lot of people who will probably be bringing in and then captaining someone like Harry Kane or another sort of Spurs player. Sorry, just quickly checking my phone. Any news on Mustafi from Ahmed Hassan? So let's have a look. We got the Arsenal lineup. Arsene Wenger revealed Mustafi has returned to training following a thigh injury, but added that it would be a little gamble to start the German. So it looks like he'll be rested for the next game. Could potentially feature as a sub for some game time, but it doesn't look like he's going to start. The lineup I'm seeing as predictable from that press conference is probably you got Peter Cech in goal, naturally, Bellerin and Kolasinac, maybe Monreal and Koscielny. We know the likes of Wilshere, Xhaka, Iwobi are fit. Lacazette looks like he could be back in the after a rest. Yeah, it says revealed Lacazette. Wenger revealed Lacazette has recently had a groin problem and was rested on Wednesday night. So he might start, he might not. And then it looks like Sanchez and Özil will also be starting as well. Is Hazard the standout captain option with Kane facing City and Salah may have a hamstring problem, may get rested? To be honest, it's very risky to say anyone's a standout option this season. Kane can score against big sides. He's done it before. Hazard is better when Morata's on the pitch. And Salah has been showing the type of form where he could do anything. He could come on off the bench with tape around his leg and still somehow managed to score a ridiculous volley. So I'd say top 3 captain options. I still like Eden Hazard as my top one. This is from Seb. As far as other captain options, I can't see myself picking anyone from Man United. I mean, Morata stands out. If Salah doesn't start, you could maybe look at someone like Firmino, Mane. I reckon if Salah is definitely going to start, though, Salah is your captain option from the Liverpool-Bournemouth game. I like a Liverpool attacking side against a Bournemouth defence. You've got your Arsenal options, Lacazette, Sanchez. Again, though, I think you're looking at Hazard, Morata, and then Salah. Just because of consistency. Or De Gea. De Gea against West Brom, you know what, could be safe points. I know you'd probably be biting your nails for the entire game until that clean sheet was confirmed, but De Gea could get you some decent points while everyone's trying to chase the best captain's armband. Ismail Mayer, is it a good move to get Adrian instead of Pope? I wouldn't say it's a good move to get him instead of Pope. I would say Adrian is a good keeper to be looking to bring into your side. Again, though, I want to see more from West Ham against like the normal opposition they play. They had 2 London derbies. They did well in both. But like I said, sometimes players do really well in derbies, in big games, and then they kind of switch off when they're not playing such a big game. So one more good performance from West Ham, and then I'm probably looking at bringing some West Ham players in. Don't you think Salah is a better captain choice than Kane? To be honest, apart from one game week recently, anyone's been a better captain choice than Harry Kane. The problem is, and the reason everyone keeps looking at him, is Kane has, over the last 6 games, had 38 attempts on goal. Now, if we look at how many Salah has had, he's had 26. However, Salah, of course, has scored 4. Kane has, 6. Salah scored 6. Kane has scored 4. Salah's also been involved in assists, whereas Harry Kane hasn't really been. And shot accuracy wise, Salah is actually worse, but conversion wise, he's more than twice as good conversion wise. Salah is hitting the back of the net more than Harry Kane is. That is why everyone keeps looking at Kane, is because Kane does still have a ridiculous amount of attempts on goal, and the idea is eventually he should be scoring, but we're obviously waiting a lot longer than we'd like to. Kiko Dantes says he feels Silva's proven to be the midfield general, so extra cash to spread around. So basically he's saying, do we really need Hazard when Silva's around? Look, I'll be honest, it looks like it's better to actually fully focus on your midfield. Because if you fully focus on your midfield, Silva, Sterling, Salah, that's 3 killers right there. And then Richarlison is doing his job as a cheap midfielder. And then just anyone decent. And you've got 5 midfielders scoring you points all season. And striker-wise, it's hard to pick out the best striker combination right now. Also, defensively, you have some teams that are tearing it up defensively and getting a lot of clean sheets. You've got Arsenal getting clean sheets, Burnley getting clean sheets. Man United only 2 in the last 6 game weeks, but they have got a lot of clean sheets overall. West Ham has suddenly been turning up with clean sheets. Everton, Liverpool. So, you know what? It completely depends, but I like how Hazard has looked in the Chelsea side recently, and that is why I'm going with him. David Knight would like to brag because he got 74 points for the last game week. No Kane, no problem. We'll see how long no Kane, no problem lasts. I'm hoping not much longer, to be fair, but well played to you, David Knight, well played. Huddersfield and Palace poor away, have never scored away, so Watford and Leicester defenders can be a good gamble this week. That is a 1-week gamble, though. That's the thing. You need to kind of look at more long-term than that, Desiree Chirija. No point bringing in a player that's only going to do well for you for 1 week. If you've already got him in the side, then yes, I wouldn't bench him. I would definitely have him in the first team. You'll lose 0.2 when you sell Kane, so buying him back will be expensive. That is true. You always have to consider how to get back into a player like Harry Kane, like Aguero, like all these big players. If you have them and then you get rid of them, what happens if they suddenly start firing on all cylinders? How do you get them back in? Is Rooney a good captain, mate? Rooney has, over the last 6 game weeks, been on fire. Everton against Swansea, you'd hope Everton would continue their run of form, or at least Rooney would. Swansea's defence aren't the best. Then it's Chelsea, West Brom, Bournemouth. But if you're just looking at Game Week 18, you could go for him. Just if he doesn't do well and then a really popular captain choice does, you're going to feel it in the rankings though. That's the problem. Steve Shotton just wants to say too much is being made of this double game week. The match is only 48 hours apart. Who is going to play in both games? Harry Kane generally plays in every game. And then you have some players that generally will feature despite how close games are together. However, there is a point behind double game weeks being made too much of. There have been double game weeks where people have gone all in on a double game week, trying to make the best of it, and they have failed miserably. Because sometimes a defender is better at defending having one game and he only has to keep a clean sheet for 90 minutes. Whereas if he concedes 2 over 2 games, each in 1 game each, very little points to be had. Also rests, of course, if a player's rested, they've only still had 1 game. If you get it right, double game weeks are massive. If you get it wrong, you set yourself up all the way till this double game week, and now you've got to fix a team that you were banking was going to do really well in a double game week. So there is a point to not try too much to do wonders in a double game week. However, you want to cover yourself, because if Harry Kane scores 2 in each game and you don't have Harry Kane, you're screwed. If West Ham keep 2 clean sheets and loads of people have brought in a West Ham defender and you haven't, you're already behind the pack. So that is why you have to think about double game weeks, but don't go 3 West Ham players and 3 Spurs players unless you really think Spurs are going to annihilate or West Ham are going to do really well. Calvert-Lewin for captain, I would say no to that, Ismail Mayet, purely because Calvert-Lewin doesn't have the best stats for a striker right now. He is a striker, isn't he? Yeah, there he is. So he's had 6 attempts on goal in 6 games. 1 attempt per game. He has got assists, though, as well. But again, he's not doing so amazing in assists and chances created that you go, okay, that makes up for the fact that he's not going to be scoring as often as someone like Wayne Rooney. He's created 4 chances. He has got 3 total assists, but that isn't a conversion rate that generally keeps going. 4 chances created and 3 of them have been put away. That's unlikely to be something he can continue. So I'd potentially not put too much faith in Calvert-Lewin yet. I have said this before. Again, though, I have been wrong before. We all remember David Silva. So Salah not starting. From what I've seen, Salah could be starting. But you know what? Nothing's been said about Salah properly by Klopp. So we don't know for definite. What am I drinking? I didn't actually mention that for once. Just Pilsner. Nothing special. It's around Christmas time. Money is short. 50 people watching right now. Not that it says it on my screen, of course. But 50 people apparently are watching according to my YouTube platform. So thank you guys so much for watching. Can we hit 90? I'm not sure we've hit 90 before. That would be pretty epic. But 25 minutes in, 50 people watching. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. I've seen Chaos in the chat there. Not quite got down to that part yet. Shout out to anyone that joined me on FPL Boss's stream recently. I think I was in that yesterday. And anyone that went and jumped in Kurt's stream as well. Thank you so much for supporting other content creators. Sammy Noor, my team is Pope, Christensen, Mariappa, Otamendi, Salah, Sane, Coutinho, Shaqiri, Morata, Calvert-Lewin, Kane. Any changes you suggest and who to captain? I would captain that's not easy, is it? I'd probably go Morata purely because Salah could be rested. Coutinho for me is a bit on and off. Sane hasn't done anything for a while. Although Kane, a lot of people are going to captain Kane, and if he does well, it will be one of those few game weeks where we all go, thank God I captained Harry Kane. The only game week I didn't captain Harry Kane recently, and he scored 2, so, you know, I just know whichever decision I make, I'm going to get it wrong with Harry Kane. But my look at it right now is Chelsea should do very well in the next game week that they're playing in. Is Ward fit? I'm presuming you mean Stephen Ward, Devshit, from Burnley. I don't think he is. He's a doubt, 75%. I would say he probably won't start. Apparently the decision is going to be made pretty much today. But with other people coming into that defence, I imagine he won't rush 3 defenders back in one game. So I feel like Ben Mee is more likely to play and Matt Loughton is more likely to play in this one. David Knight says, good news, Richarlison is back in business. That's what I've been saying, but some people keep saying he's injured. But everything I'm reading says the only worry Silva has about Richarlison is he might be getting a bit jaded, a bit tired. Desiree Charija, Klopp has never won against an English manager. Might be a gamble. It might end up 0-0 or 1-goal game. I also think he has had games against English managers where he's lost like 4-3 or some silly score like that. So there is the chance that there's still points to be had from that game. I'm not saying Liverpool will keep a clean sheet. I'm not saying they'll win. I just like Liverpool's attack against that Bournemouth defence. Steve Shotton, this Fever Tree tonic is great with gin tonight. I'm not a gin drinker personally, but glad to see someone's drinking something a bit classy. Shashank Bandari, what is the FPL Today league code? I would put it in the chat, but it's going to drop me to the bottom. So if you are still watching, the code should be on your screen now. It's 812-441. Ismail Mayet, please rate mine 452. How are you playing a 452? That's cheating, Ismail. That's cheating. Kane, Calvin, Sterling, Salah, Silva, De Bruyne, Hazard, Tarkowski, Pope, Cabacelis. He spelt it wrong, which is why I read it wrong, just for the record. I like Sterling, Salah, Silva. 3 Man City midfielders seems a bit much, though, to be fair. Hazard, I think, give him time to come back into it. Defence, doubling up on Burnley. I can't really say no to that because I'm doing it, but it is always a risk. Not a fan of Watford defenders myself, personally. And then Kane is one of those we're just waiting to see if he actually does something. Jones is now 5.4, which shows me how far behind I am in the chat. I think bringing in Jones is a decent move. Man City's defence looks good when Phil Jones is playing. Shashank Bandari, my team needs a Man City midfielder. True, it does. But also, at the same time, I stopped going there because I didn't know which Man City midfielders were going to play. I've got a better idea of that now. So, after the Spurs game, I might bring in a Man City midfielder. But I've been doing alright. I've been increasing my ranking every single game week without a Man City midfielder. So I feel like Salah covers for at least a lot of people that have Man City players. There are people that have the right Man City players and Salah, and those I'm probably falling behind. Want to invest in West Ham's defence as double game week. We looked at this last stream. Basically, we're looking at Ogbonna and Masaku, and then if you think Cresswell can get the kind of assists he used to get as a left back, then Cresswell could be a good shout as well. Out of Loftus-Cheek and Juve, who should I play? Juve is more likely to score some points than Ruben Loftus-Cheek. That is the way I see it. Juve is actually one of the better cheap options for strikers, so I would go Juve. Kiko Dantes, Mahrez, apparently more goals to come. Again, I personally don't think he will continue his return rate, but he has been playing really well. Let's get that straight. Burnley have hard fixtures, Ismail, but Burnley do well defensively against anyone. If we actually have a look at Burnley's results this season, now I could get proven completely wrong here, but if we go and take Pope, if we look at what they concede nothing, concede nothing, concede 1, concede 1, concede 1, concede none, concede 1. So, apart from Man City and Chelsea, where have they conceded a lot of goals? You've got this Bournemouth game, potentially. That's it. So, I personally think that Burnley defence is solid, no matter who they play. Because if we look in that run, they have played, fair enough, they conceded against Chelsea, and they conceded against Man City. But they did decent against Spurs, decent against Liverpool. They've done decent against Arsenal. So they can get, literally, these games, the Arsenal, Spurs, and Liverpool games, just one goal. If they stopped one goal, they would have had a clean sheet. And then, if you've got someone like Nick Pope, 8 saves against Liverpool, that's extra points. If you've got Pope against Arsenal, only 1 save. So, I mean, if you look at that, he made 1 save. So that just shows how effective Arsenal were against the Burnley defence. So, the fact that Burnley might have a tough fixture list, Spurs and Man United, but other than that, you can rotate. That's the only period where they have 2 hard games right next to each other. Other than that, they always have a nice game slotted somewhere in there. So, the Burnley defenders don't worry me. There's a lot more I've got to look at in my team than the Burnley guys. The false 9, Ramsey out until New Year. I've drafted Lanzini, only 0.7 ownership. And West Ham have good fixtures and a double game week. That's true. Ramsey is out, so if you still have Ramsey, I would get him out your sides. Lanzini, if it works, it's going to work big for you, the false 9. So fingers crossed for you. Who have I got in the next round of the Cup? That is a good question. I'm glad you guys remind me of these things, because I would forget. Okay, so we have FC Joe, who overall rank is at... Is that right? That's high. In fact, it looks like he joined Game Week 16, which would explain, and his Game Week rank... So basically, we have someone here that has just started, may have played their wild card, and qualified for this round. So let's have a look at the team. Okay. So, because he started late, he's kind of seen the pattern that strikers aren't scoring loads. So I'm coming up against someone that has De Gea, Valencia. So if Man United keep a clean sheet, I'm already going to be looking at a tough game week. He's got Alonso, Chelsea, Newcastle. Expect clean sheet there. He's got Burnley, Long. I'm hoping Long won't play, but Milner, Anderson, unlikely to be ready, so Ngoy could come in. But yeah, it's Southampton. Why did I think Chelsea and Newcastle? It's Arsenal with Newcastle, I think. Well, whoever it is, Chelsea could get another clean sheet. Long, I'm hoping won't play. He's got Mahrez, he's got Richarlison, he's got Hazard, Coutinho, Shaqiri. So I could be out, to be fair, this coming game week, because he's picked a team after watching 15 game weeks. He picked a team, so I'm worried. He may even have a wild card still to play as well. So I've got a negative feeling that this could be my last game in the cup. Ahmed Salah, how are you doing, man? Thank you for joining the stream, my friend. Hope everything is good with you. Alex Howlett, we've got Gomez, Ward, Jones, Silva, Richarlison, Salah, Mahrez, Morata, Lewin and Kane. Got the greatest player in the world on the bench, Loftus-Cheek. So good cover. But who should I get in and get out? Looking at that side, your midfield looks good. Your defence looks good. I don't like Lewin myself. Strikers, you may not necessarily need Kane. I'm not getting rid of him though. Loftus-Cheek to me isn't necessarily the best cheap midfielder. Sermon for me is the best cheap midfielder. But if you think Loftus-Cheek is the best player in the world, don't get rid of him. Oh, and hello Geezer as well. And Florin Sandu, how are you doing? Freudland beer, being drunk in Norway. Never tried it myself, but I'm sure it's good. What should I do with Gary Cahill? Go straight to Christensen. Christensen's been doing wonders for people. That's what I've heard anyway. Yeah. 6.2 to 5.6. You're saving money and you've got a better player. So I'd go straight to Christensen. 8 out of 10 teams in our family league went out of the cup, mostly to dead teams. That happens sometimes. Dead teams can get incredibly lucky. If a game week doesn't go the way a game week usually does, sometimes you can get a lot of good players. I've looked on Twitter. A lot of the Twitter experts got knocked out by teams that didn't have what you'd consider a good team long term. Because of all the rotation, they actually had a good team. So, yeah, it happens. Jafar Essam, I remember you. Good to see you again, my friend. Thank you for rejoining the stream. Thomas McCarthy, I know it's not going your way, is it? I did get your tweet. We'll get to it as soon as I get a chance. I know I said I'd do it last night. Apologies. Siraj saw the tweet as well, as far as I can see. So hopefully we will get to that. To be honest, though, your team doesn't look that. In fact, why not? Why not do it live? Huh? Why not? Because there's no time like the present. FPL Amy, by the way, go give her a follow. Tell her that JNO sent you. Decent Twitter account. I had some banter with her recently. But anyway, let's go to my notifications. And we've got Thomas McCarthy's squad right here. So, I like Foster. However, Foster has Man United next, of course. But Foster was a player I recently said you don't need because West Brom were looking bad. They're now not looking as bad again. So, I would potentially look at Foster as an option. Mariappa seems like he's playing on and off enough to keep in as a cheap defender. Otamendi, we love here. Ben Mee will be coming back, so that should help out. Richarlison again should be okay, so that should help. Carroll, if you can, get rid of him. Young, you know what? Young's returning points, but it's irregularly. So someone like Sterling or Silva would be better. However, of course, that's a hike up in price. Hazard, again, I think you just need to wait and see if he can do anything. Mohamed Salah, good to have him. I think a lot of your bad luck has been not picking the right captain, but to be honest, a lot of people have been struggling with that. Rooney is now on form. Kane, everyone's waiting for Kane to score. You've got to make a decision. Do you have faith in Harry Kane or do you not? If you don't, you get rid of him. If you do, then you're just going to have to ride it out until at least the double game week, and then you may just regret your decision of trying to ride it out. My issue is your defence. Daniels is good for a period, but isn't someone you want to keep in your side. Hegazi, again, would be like Foster. He was someone that looked like he would be a good choice at the start of the season and then start performing really badly. Calvert-Lewin, for me, doesn't have the underlying stats. And then Elliott, of course, isn't playing. But I'm not going to be dishonest here. The team doesn't look awful. But sometimes you just have bad periods, even though your team isn't actually that bad. I think I've... Where am I? There we go. Is Morata playing against Southampton? It looks like he probably will be. Florence Sanders thinking of captain in Lacazette. Tiger Raiders team, Fabianski, Christensen, Otamendi, Kenny, Sterling, Hazard, Richarlison, Salah, Morata, Kane, Calvert-Lewin, Elliott, Loftus-Cheek and Bemba, Kiko, Firmino. Mbemba is just one of those really annoying players right now. But every now and again comes in with an appearance, which can help. Christensen, Otamendi, great choices. Kenny's a good choice at the moment. Fabianski's a decent keeper at 4.5. Sterling, of course, great. Salah, great. Richarlison and Hazard aren't bad midfielders to have. Morata and Kane, good strikers, just not consistent enough for us just yet. But I'd say those still, for me, are the two I would look at. Then Calvert-Lewin, I don't like, to be fair. Elliott, hopefully he comes back into the first team. Loftus-Cheek, I think Sermon's better choice. Kicker for me, that I don't like Watford defenders personally. I just don't think they're going to keep that many clean sheets. Elite Gamer, who am I captaining? It's going to be between Hazard and Kane, and every time it has been that choice, I've got it wrong. But probably Kane. I don't know why I'm doing it to myself, but it's probably going to be Kane, because the one time I didn't do it, I got screwed. Alan Arjanovic, De Gea, Ward, Otamendi, Christensen, Ward, if you only have that transfer to make, just until he's back. Gross, Mahrez, Hazard, Salah, Kane, Rooney, Firmino. How can he improve his team? I would look at Gross as probably the player that you might be able to improve. He's had a quiet period. But otherwise, and Ward, you probably want someone else in than Ward until he's back. Good substitute for Gross. Richarlison, but I think he's a bit more expensive. Sorry, excuse me, guys. Let's have a look. So Gross is 5.9. So we're looking for a midfielder that's 5.9 or less. So you got probably Decore, but I've looked at his stats before. It doesn't look like he'll keep up that return. To be honest, I personally don't think there's much better than Gross. Again, Sermon would save you about 1.1 million, and you could potentially get some very good returns off of Sermon. But there's no one that really stands out other than Sermon for me. I don't see any of those players and think they will continually score a lot of goals. Young may get a lot of assists and goals, but he doesn't have the underlying stats that suggest he'll continue to do what he's done recently, which is get some decent returns. After all, he's only got 4 points in the last 3 games. But before that, he had a nice little run there if you had him. But I personally don't think you have to run away from Gross necessarily, unless you can really upgrade to a more expensive midfielder. Desiree Chirija says no to Arsenal defenders. December, January, they struggle. Gordon Gilbody, got a plan for my team in the cup because my opponent will have looked at my team or be viewing my first 11 before tomorrow's. I bench my past players and captain a defender. I'll change it just before deadline. That's a good move, actually, Gordon Gilbody. Gordon Gilbody using his head, making sure his opponent looks at his team, thinks something random is happening, and then tries to play against that and just gets screwed. Chaos, how you doing, mate? Finally got to the part of the chat where you've joined. Good to see you in here. And J Rock has joined. How you doing, my friend? Anish Vakar got to go for this game week. Oh, good to go for this game week. Pope, Alonso, Otamendi, Gomez, me, Duffy, Salah, Hazard, Richarlison, Morata, Fabianski, Gross, Nias on the bench. Decent looking side. You should do well this game week, I imagine. Desiree Chirija, David De Gea and Gomez. He thinks both will keep a clean sheet, but he's got both of them. I'd always go De Gea. I've gone Hazard as captain, 6k overall currently. Yeah, Chaos, stop bragging about your ranking in my stream. Irish Red is taking a punt on Chicharito. So let's remember that. If Irish Red comes back and Chicarito's got a hat-trick, we all have to drink to Irish Red. Florence Sandu, looking at games between now and the double game week, I'm thinking of reinvesting Kane money. I just can't do it. I know right now he's not done anything to suggest I should keep him in my side. However, That game there just brought back all the confidence. And if we actually look, generally 3-week period is the longest he goes without a goal. I mean, I know we want more from him than this West Brom and Leicester game, but he's got 40% ownership. He is one of the best strikers in the league. And the fixtures are really, like, apart from this blank here, Burnley, Southampton, I can see him scoring against Southampton. And even though Burnley's defence are good, I can see him scoring against Burnley. Then he's got that. Then fair enough, he's got a really bad 3-game period. But you just got to be able to bring him back. And sometimes, if you're reinvesting the money elsewhere, it takes 2 or 3 transfers to bring someone like Kane back in. Sorry, guys. Richarlison, DeAndre, muscle fatigue, 16/12/2017. Where are you getting that from? Because if I look at my injury site, he's okay to play. He's only suffering from fatigue, is what I've got. Status 100%. So he could get rested, and I have said that. Silva's worried that he's getting a bit jaded, lacking in match sharpness, because he's just playing too often. But there's no injury worry, so there's all the potential in the world that he will play. But he could get rested, yes. But I'm going to take the risk because I think Richarlison's a good player that could have a good game week at any point. Desiree Tree just says all the strikers above 10 million are robbing us. Wazza is better. Bonnie Saha, should I bring Adrian for Foster? Or is that Forster? Because you've put Froster. But I would say if it's Forster, yes, Adrian could be a good move. But again, I'll say it again. West Ham have had 2 great games against London opponents. Big games for West Ham. They may have upped their game for those 2. I want to see it in a normal game. What you consider a game that West Ham should potentially be winning. If I see a good defensive performance then as well, I will then go fair play. Maybe it's time to look at West Ham defence. Jamal Rice, number 1 in my league at the moment, as far as I'm aware. Kane forever, captain armband. You know what? You're probably right. And I made the one mistake of the 1 week I didn't give him the armband, and he actually got a brace. What to do with Ramsey? Take him out your side. If you don't have Richarlison, I'd say Richarlison's the one to bring in for Ramsey. If not, if you can upgrade, that's great. If you can't upgrade, then that's a bit annoying. I'm sorry, hello Dom Stimfig. Before I carry on. So we're looking about the 7 million mark. I mean, if you think Grosh can return back to form, if you think Shaqiri can take advantage of the next 3 fixtures, then those are people you could be looking at. But like I said, there's no one else really that jumps out to me like, yes. Lingard has had some good periods, but does he get in the team enough? There's not many options. I mean, to facilitate coverings for someone like Ramsey, it might be worth getting rid of a striker just to have a strong midfield. Apparently my Google Chrome is pixelated. So apologies if it's been pixelated for you. I can zoom in. Is that better for people? Hopefully. If not, I'm sure you'll let me know in the chat and I'll read it in about 20 minutes. TP is back in the chat. And straight away I dropped to the bottom. Oh, it looked like we had some drama in the chat as well. Have I gone too far back? I think I have. Where's TP? Find TP's name. There we go. JP43 talks about the FPL show. It shows that the last 7 out of 8 most transferred players have scored minimum points. It's always a problem. If you chase the most informed player, it doesn't always go the right way, which is why I do like to look at underlying stats as well. But to be honest, you'll sometimes get stats that will seem to suggest something, and then they could be wrong for the rest of the season. I wouldn't read too much into it, but it is worth considering. Make your move according to the fixtures and how they've been playing just generally. Like Mahrez, for instance, his underlying stats don't suggest he'll keep doing what he's been doing. TP, hopefully I can help cheer you up. Hopefully. I wasn't going to mention it, just in case you didn't want to mention it. Salah should start because Liverpool need a win. That's not always the case. Like, for instance, the amount of players Klopp rested, for a Merseyside derby, I would never rest players for a Merseyside derby, personally, if I was ever a manager. Desiree Charija fears for Smalling, fears rotation there. TB Football Analysis Team, De Gea, me, Otamendi, Vertonghen, Richarlison, Grosh, Ramsey, Salah, Austin, Lukaku, Morata, Pope, Cedric, Richie, Daniels. Nothing in the bank, who to transfer, who to start, who to captain. Not asking for much, are you, TP? I like De Gea, of course. Pope, I like, of course. Me, I like Otamendi. Vertonghen, he's the nailed-on Spurs defender if you think Spurs can turn their defence around. Richarlison, I like. Grosh could come back in form. Ramsey, you need to get out. It might be difficult if you've got nothing in the bank, though, because the two best options you've probably already got, Richarlison and Grosh. Austin, Lukaku and Morata. I personally am not a fan of Lukaku, so that would be the one I'd take out. Richie, I'm not sure Matt Ritchie's doing much at the moment to be keeping him in the side either. As far as who to captain for this game week, I would probably go Morata. DMNG, Captain Sterling, Salah or Morata. If Morata's definitely going to play, I'd probably go Morata. Bonnie Saha, Grosh, will he going to play 90 minutes? Should I make -4 with Carlson? Bonnie Saha, Grosh looks pretty nailed on because he was rested for the last game. So he should be back to play, as should Glenn Murray. So they should be recalled, so I wouldn't necessarily transfer them out. They did get rested previously, but that was because the turnaround of fixtures was so small. Eggnog for Firetog, getting in the Christmas spirit already. Richarlison versus Huddersfield smells points. Hopefully. I mean, hopefully. Gomez should be okay for Liverpool this game week. As far as I can tell, Gomez isn't a definite to be okay, but he could be. 75%. What can I find out? Where's Gomez's name? Joe Gomez only played 10 minutes as a substitute in midweek and is carrying a slight knock, but he could replace Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. So it's not a definite, but sorry if I suddenly disappeared while I put a can away. But he could come on to play in place of Alexander-Arnold if Klopp does decide to rotate. Jan Iver Jacobson, how you doing, my friend? He's in Norway having a beer, wondering which captain to miss for tomorrow. Yeah, you know what? I probably will get it wrong, won't I? So we'll probably get it wrong together again. I think Chelsea, Morata or Hazard. But that's who I'm thinking. But I'll probably still put my captain's armband on Kane, just in case. And then regret it. Jerome Can High. Thinking of bringing in Lacazette and Sanchez for Kane and Eriksen for the next few game weeks is a good idea. I'd probably say no, just in case Kane does something crazy over the double game week. Because Spurs don't have an awful set of fixtures after this Man City game, apart from that blank. As far as Arsenal are concerned, they have Liverpool and Chelsea. Fair enough, they do have Newcastle, West Brom and Palace. So those games do look good. Arsenal have not got any faith from me at the moment. So it's completely up to you though. Gordon Gilbert, he's having a few beers and got an unopened bottle of single malt just looking at him. I don't know how you haven't drunk some already. Sane ain't returning nothing since game week 12 from J Rock. Shake my head. I'm pretty sure just before that happened, I was saying get Sane in. Get Sane in. And then don't get Sane in. Whatever you do, don't get him in. Steve Shotton pointing out how well Kolasinac has done at home against a Newcastle team that aren't exactly doing great. Could be a great differential captain, could be, but Dwight Gale does keep popping up with points, so you'd be needing, if Dwight Gale scores again, for Kolasinac to get a goal or an assist. Jan Ivor Jacobson going for cheaper forwards like Rooney and Vardy, with of course Kane. Pellegrino blames Southampton versus Leicester on Austin, so unfair. Mate, I don't know what's happened at Southampton, mate. I feel like you may have got rid of too many of your good players and not given some managers enough time. But we'll see what's happening there. Thoughts on Wilshere? I have no faith in Wilshere. Like, he's had so many opportunities. He's very injury prone. I wouldn't be bringing in Wilshere until I see some returns from him. JNO, you're not going to win the cup. You had to be the luckiest guy on the earth. I'm pretty sure I'm going out this game week, to be fair. I've just realised I'm playing a team that have only been created since game week 16. Rad Robbie Roller, my team is Pope, Valencia, Kolasinac, Otamendi, Alonso, Moses, Silva, Alexis, Hazard, Mahrez, Vardy. Any suggestions who to captain? I would say Eden Hazard, especially if Morata starts. I'm going to have a quick cheeky look at the what Zvids is saying. Okay. Okay, shouldn't be swearing, but no idea who that is, to be fair. James Cartwright, your live tweets during matches crack me up. I try. I can't always live tweet during matches because I am often at work. I have to work weekends, unfortunately. But you know what? I do every now and again try and put something quite funny. Or, you know, because I can't... Twitter, you can't put loads of detail in. Or at least I can't. I'm not that good at squeezing detail into a short, little bite-sized chunk. So, yeah. I try and be entertaining on Twitter. Isa T, how you doing, my friend? HM Goofam, Morata or Lacazette? I'd go with Morata myself. Just don't have faith in Arsenal always turning up. When they do turn up, though, Arsenal are explosive. I'll just get that out of the way. Jan Ivor Jacobson taking too many hits every week just because it's so much fun and going for too many tips from you guys. I would always say try not to take hits, but sometimes you look at your team and think, I need to take at least the -4. But try not to take hits. Who am I captaining, Ismail? Probably Harry Kane, even though it is Man City. I know that sounds crazy. I'll probably change to Hazard tomorrow morning. Then on Twitter, I'll constantly be saying, should I go Hazard? Should I go Hazard? Then I'll berate Hazard when he doesn't do well and be like hating everybody that captained Harry Kane. Paul Pogba will be available for game week 19. Do you think it's a good idea to swap Sterling out for Pogba? I wouldn't swap out Sterling for Pogba. I think Sterling is going to continue to consistently get points, and Man City's run of fixtures is looking very good after that Spurs game. Man United's fixtures also look very good, but I think if I had to guess which team was going to score more and which player was going to score more, I'd go with Sterling. HM Goofam, is Lingard and Willian a good sub for Ramsey and Choupo-Moting, at least for this game week? I'd say no, purely because Lingard isn't going to be a first team player at United, and you're going to have to take him out later. Willian is not a good sub because if Chelsea start playing the 3-5-1-1, which they've kind of started doing when Morata and Hazard are both available, then that's also going to be an issue. So no for me, those aren't good transfers. Pogba's a good shout. I want to swap Salah out for Pogba. You did not just write that. Ismail Mayet, you cannot be saying Salah out of your squad. Salah is the man at the moment. He's the FPL god at the moment. On a Rebel, I am still in the cup, but I think I'm going out this game week. Desiree Charija, can you check out my squad? 191. How far am I in the chat? You know what? Potentially we could do that. Although I'm not just going to go and check everyone's teams now. So don't spam, can you check my team? I'm 107th at the moment, if you wondered. We've got some new people joining, which is nice to see. Just in case. Dom Stimfig, you should be in it already. Alex Howlett as well. There we go, 191 you said, yeah? So this should be your team I'm looking at. De Gea, Otamendi, Azpilicueta, Smalling, Morgan, Decore, Salah, David Silva, Martial, Vardy, Kane. I'd say Martial isn't someone I would go with right now, purely because although I think he's played a lot recently, Man United aren't scoring loads of goals, and although to be fair, when they do score, he's often involved. So maybe Martial is a good shout. Don't like Decore, but a lot of people have him, and he does every now and again have a good game week. Morgan you can change for someone, even if you're saving money or if you're not. Kenny might be a better choice. Your bench is weak though, to be fair, so when someone of these players don't play, I would be a little bit worried. Calvert-Lewin 352 or no Calvert-Lewin? Who are Everton playing? Swansea. You could risk it, but I'm not a fan of Calvert-Lewin. Norek der Taveten wants everyone to check out his Twitter, or Instagram, sorry. ETS Performance. I mean, do I look like I work out? I mean, thank you very much. I've got my workout routine nailed down. I get one of these and I lift it up and down to my mouth over and over again. I'm not sure the contents of the can are helping me that much though. Maybe I should get like a protein shake and then it might do better. Florin Sandu. No offence, Norek, but fancy coming into a FPL stream trying to get people to check out how to work out on your Instagram when my FPL stream is about drinking alcohol and talking about football. And pretty much, I used to play a lot of sports, just for the record, and I'm apparently still a decent dancer, but I'm not the most active guy. Okay, Florian Sandu has Damari Gray, Loftus-Cheek and Kane versus KDB, Sterling and Rooney or Lacazette. I'd say KDB and Sterling outbalanced Gray and Loftus-Cheek enough that unless Kane goes on a tear, you're alright. Honor Red was thinking of captaining Vardy because he needs one more goal for 50 Premier League goals, so he might be pushing for that goal. With Leicester playing Crystal Palace, that could definitely happen. That could definitely happen. Calvert-Lewin or defenders? I'd go defenders. Ilyas Hussein, how you doing? Sanchez is a differential pick. It could be a great pick. I just don't have faith in Arsenal, but it is against Newcastle, and generally Newcastle have been poor, and as far as goal threat for midfielders, Sanchez is only second to Mohamed Salah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sanchez has a very good game week. Will Stephen Ward play this week? He could make an appearance, but I don't think he will. If I'm 6k overall, mate, I just got to let the people know. Don't worry, I would be letting the people know as well. You've got to let the people know. I almost started doing a KSI song. Yes, I watched all the beef over the summer. Anyway, Captain Hazard. I think Hazard could be good. I would say it's a toss-up between Hazard or Morata, though. Both could do really well. J&O, score predictions for Burnley versus Brighton. I'm thinking or hoping for a 0-0 one. I think Burnley is Burnley at home, first of all. No, they're away. My gut says a 1-1 draw, just to get rid of all those clean sheets that people are hoping for. Matt Lowton should play this weekend, in my opinion. I favour him over Ward, purely because he's returned to training a bit sooner, so I reckon he'll get the nod just for this game. David Knight, who should I captain? Salah, Coutinho, Firmino, Mahrez, Rooney or Silva? Silva seems like a safe bet, but it is against Spurs. I would look at Salah. But if you know for definite one of those Liverpool players are playing, I fancy Liverpool to get goals against Bournemouth. Will I be streaming during the game week? Unfortunately not, unless I can somehow fit in a stream on Sunday. But I am going to go visit my parents, and also it's my nephew's birthday. So I doubt I'll be streaming Sunday, and I'm at work Saturday, so unlikely. One day, hopefully this will be my job, and then I'll stream every blimmin' game week. I might even stream every day. Like, I probably wouldn't stream every day, but maybe every other day, and definitely when games are being played. IBN Adam, thanks JNO, and good luck tomorrow. Hopefully go through the cup. Hopefully. I've got my fingers crossed. Thank you for the thumbs up. Who do you have as captain? I'm stuck between about 7 players. Right now, I will probably still be captaining Kane. I just feel like if I don't captain Kane, he'll get a hat-trick against Man City to stop their run or something crazy. Chaos says to the Southampton lads, you can have Loved back if you want. Oh, I think that's Lovren. They might actually take him, to be fair. Isa T captaining Alonso. That could work out amazing. Paul Giddy, thank you for joining. It doesn't matter that you're here late. What matters is you're here. So thank you for joining. He's going to captain Hazard instead of Kane. Only if Morata is back. It looks like Morata probably will be back. With over 700k transfers out, Morata for sure will be a big hit at this game week. Maybe I'll bring him in somehow for Kane. Man United defender Smalling. I'm joking, by the way. I won't be taking out Kane. Man United defender Smalling or Jones. Definitely Jones is more favoured by Mourinho, in my opinion. Jeff Holt is in the chat. How you doing, Mr. Super Chat? Good to see you in the chat. A bit late, mate. Maria keeping you busy. Chaos. I'm 7th in your league, mate. Can you have a look at my team? I said I wouldn't do it. Stop it. Alright, 7th, yeah? Get blooming blasted with requests to look at teams soon. A team has no name. Okay, so we got Pope. Great choice. With Elliott. That's unfortunate. Christensen, Otamendi, Maguire, Cabaselli. I like the defence. I'm not a fan of Cabaselli, though, but you've got me as well, which I do like. Hazard, Salah, Sterling, Richarlison, good midfield. Kane, Calvert, Lewin. Not a fan of Calvert, but I have said that before. Morata is there, though, as well. I do like your team overall. There's a reason you are doing better than me, because I think your team is better than mine. Almost hitting that 1k. Watching in a car in Cheltenham, waiting to pick up Maria from work. Drinking a off Crush'em. An off Crush'em or a KFC Crush'em? Because an off Crush'em was a bit worrying, mate. Tell Maria, how dare she be working when I'm streaming? Says the guy that's working when people want him to stream. TV Football Analysis. Shall I get a relatively cheap striker in place of Lukaku and get a really good midfield? To be honest, the point's looking midfield. If you look at Chaos, I've just looked at Chaos's team, right? And Chaos can verify this or not. But if we go in his game week history, because I can verify it myself, actually. We got 4-4-2. We got 3-5-2. We've got 3-4-3. We've got 3-5-2. We've got 3-5-2. So generally, he's been playing 3-5-2 or... Yeah, 3-5-2 is the one I said the most. And he's got more points than me. So, to be honest, to me it looks... That's a massive jump there. 141 to 19. 90 points in that game week. Jeez, man. Well done, my friend. Well done, my friend. But potentially, midfield is where you need to be focusing your points. Or your money. Anyway, Jan Ivor Jacobson. Here's my team at the moment. De Gea, Monreal, Gomez, Cabaselli, me, Hazard, Salah, Silva, Rooney, Vardy, Kane, Pope, Sermon, Zanka, Loftus-Cheek. What's your verdicts? Don't know why I did a little jingle. I like it. Gomez is a bit rotation-y for me. Don't like Watford defenders. But otherwise, don't see much wrong with that team. Florin Sandu check points. De Gea and Kane on the same. I wish I'd brought in De Gea. This is the one season I'm probably looking at one of the expensive keepers and wishing I'd put him in my side. It's always nice to see your team on TV though, TP. That's all I've got to say. Oh, Siraj has turned up. You said you'd be here. I'm joking, mate. How you doing, mate? Hereford, wish Hereford luck in the FA Trophy. Good luck, mate. I don't think AFC Wimbledon ever won the FA Trophy, so good luck in that. When did the stream start? The stream started an hour and 12 minutes ago, mate. I know it seems crazy, but after Bournemouth, I'm actually considering selling Salah. Like, I don't understand it, mate, because after that, they do have Arsenal, but then it's Swansea, Leicester and Burnley. Like, no, don't do it. If there's one thing I'm confident in, is Salah will get some more goals. Watch him not get goals now. Sorry if I jinxed it. Jan Ivor Jacobson wants to captain Vardy. Vardy is one away from 50 Premier League goals, which has been pointed out in this stream. He could be really pushing to get that, and against Crystal Palace, it could happen. Vardy is a good striker, so I wouldn't say it's a bad captain choice. It's not someone I'm considering, though. Rad Robbie Roller, the reason is, and it's... You are right. Everything you said, Rad Robbie Roller, is right. At that price, he should be miles ahead of everyone. The problem is, he's still getting the most attempts on goal. He still looks like he should be scoring more. If he didn't have the underlying stats, a lot of people that still have him would have also got rid of him. Paul Geedy off the weekend. Don't rub it in, mate. I'm working tomorrow. Desiree Tarija would rather sell his head than sell Salah. I would prefer, Desiree, if you sold your Salah instead of your head. Just I like you in the streams, mate. Siraj has it down. If you don't have Kane and he does start performing, just like if you don't have Salah and he does well, you have a bad game week pretty much. Ilias is saying cup. The cup is a cruel mistress, to be fair. Who would I not play this week from Elias on... I don't know how to say your name. I'd play me. I'd play Jones. Oh, wow. Kenny and Christensen. I'd play all of them. Depends on the rest of your team, of course. But I like the look of all of those players. Ah, Maria's getting pissed at a work party. Where was my invite? Come on, Maria. You could have invited me. You could have been like, here's my YouTube friend. I've never been introduced as my YouTube friend. So, you know, that would have been fun. Siraj, Jones, me, Christensen is who he'd pick. J-Rock, Cabaselli has the same amount of goals as Loftus-Cheek. I don't like Loftus-Cheek, personally, as an option. I think there's better options than him. Elliot, any thoughts on Elliot? My thoughts on Elliot right now are, oh man, why is he not playing? Those are my exact thoughts. As far as will he play tomorrow, the lineup I'm looking at, predicted lineup, says he might. But why? If I can just find it in the paragraph. Okay. Darlow, who's the other keeper, was at fault for Everton's winning goal. So Rob Elliott may be considered. Maybe. But it's against Arsenal. I would worry about Elliott. I personally don't think necessarily one mistake is going to be the nail in his coffin for definite. I'm worried about Elliott personally. I'm hoping Elliott will come back in though. Oh, Siraj, if you've got the flu, don't make me feel guilty coming into the stream. You can take a night off, don't worry. All of us here will be fine if you take a night off. Chaos says the last 3-5-2 I looked at was a 3-4-3, but Aguero got subbed out. And that's the problem. The strikers aren't consistent or aren't always starting. And he has an expensive mid. How much do I have in the bank? Not enough. As far as transfers go, I think I have 0.7 in the bank. And I just looked at it. So yes, I do have 0.7 in the bank. Should I sell KDB and have one cheap midfielder and get Sterling and Mahrez? I'd say Sterling is enough to cover for KDB. So if you think Mahrez is going to do well, then yes. But I personally have already said in this stream, I don't think Mahrez can keep up his returns because I don't think his underlying stats are as good as his FPL points. So I think he will drop off as far as his points return. Chaos, those weeks where everything goes for you are superb. Hope you enjoyed it. Jeff Holt, I'll get Maria to invite you next time, but I think your wife would worry about all the women in the room flocking all over you. Maybe we shouldn't put it like that to her because that sounds dodgy. But personally, she's used to it because I have some good dance moves. So, you know, my work party, you know, some girls dance with me, maybe a few. Now I sound a bit like a knob, so I'll stop. Anyway. TV Football Analysis, doing anything nice for your Christmas apart from constantly changing your FPL team? Christmas plans, for the first time in a long time, I've got Boxing Day off. So I've got Christmas Day and Boxing Day. I'm going to try and sneak a cheeky stream in on Boxing Day. Don't know when it will be, though, because ideally I should go visit my parents. As far as my wife's parents, they live quite close, so we probably will see them on Christmas Day. Other than that, just, you know, spend it with my family. For certain reasons, we may be moving flat very soon after Christmas. Don't want to go into too much detail about that. But, yeah, not just on an off note. It's not been the easiest time for me recently. Some of you know about some of the things that happened mid this year, like summertime this year. Also, some other things happened. My mum got lost in Spain. Like, just lost in Spain. She got an illness on holiday, was taken to hospital, and the company looking after her lost her. So, you know, and various other things, but a lot to go into. That could be a whole video in itself if I actually explained everything that's gone on this year. So I won't. But, yeah, just spend some time with the family and then start considering moving. So that is what my Christmas will pretty much be. Florian Sandu looks like he's giving up on Kane. You know what? I wouldn't blame anyone for giving up on Kane at all. I am not going to give up on Kane, though. Gomez could play, but it's not for definite. Richarlison, again, could play. Basically, the exact words that Silva said are, he is available, but he does seem to be jaded. He does seem to need rest. So he could be rested, but he's not injured. Oh, flip an FPL coin for my captain. They should sell an FPL coin. He only said flip a coin, but for some reason I read FPL coin. They should sell an FPL coin, and like you'll be able to flick it just to the side of your captain is. David De Gea and Vardy. Those are interesting captain choices. Salah might be rested and Kane might be outscored by Vardy. Geedy's thinking of doing the unthinkable and ditching Kane for a cheap striker and upgrading my defence. Again, I couldn't blame anyone for that. Jeff Holt, I would look one more game. If West Ham have another good defensive performance, I will be investing in the West Ham defence. But I just want one good performance from them that isn't against Arsenal or Chelsea, because I feel like they've raised their game for that. So if they keep out Stoke, I will then consider a West Ham defender. Jake Campbell, not quite sure what you said there, so apologies for not answering that question. Something about a list of articles on YouTube. Anyone greedy FPL scouts get paid for nothing. They ask people to get a player and then he scores nothing. To cover this, they call it the transfer curse. So, you know what? Unfortunately, the FPL business is a fickle mistress. So it is hard to do, get predictions right. I've been trying for 2 odd years and I do get some right. I do get some wrong. I think the fact that I've grown and had decent rankings means... And I've helped some people get amazing ranks. But then there's also people that watch me that don't get amazing ranks. So who knows? I'm just waffling. But hopefully I help people. And hopefully I don't always get calls wrong. Where am I moving to? Literally only 2 or 3 minutes down the road. But long story short, the rent will be going up here. And I personally don't agree with it. So, you know. No, I won't say any more than that. Don't think my landlord watches this. If you do, I'm sorry. Should I switch Sane to Sterling or Silva? I'd go Sterling myself. I still think Sterling will score more, but Silva is just as good a choice, to be fair. Do I swap Gross to Shaqiri? Fixture-wise, Shaqiri looks like he's got better fixtures. I do like Gross though, but Shaqiri could really work for you. Siraj Karanja, you can make an app called FPL Coin Captain Decider. That would be good, actually. God, you've got a lot of strings to your bow, don't you, Siraj? I'm not giving up on Kane, but I'm reluctant giving the armband in this match particularly. Think you're brave to do so. I'm not. You think I'm brave now. When you see my team tomorrow, you'll be like, oh, he changed his mind. TP thinks if you're in the top 2 million, you should get a voucher to get £5 off a Premier League game. You know what? That wouldn't cost teams that much, would it? Because if you consider, some of the top Premier League teams charge ridiculous amount. So yeah, £5 off wouldn't be bad. Why don't they do official FPL merchandise? It would be such a good present and they'd make so much money. On that note, Chaos, link in the description, FPL Today t-shirt. Just saying. Join the Flock t-shirt, just saying. Wouldn't be as good quality as an FPL merchandise, but you know, just saying. You know what? Don't worry. Fantasy Premier League Tips will probably do official Premier League merchandise soon. Fantasy Premier League merchandise, so seeing as he seems to like ripping off other people's content. Anyway. TP, who thinks FPL should be in the school curriculum? I could get a job as a teacher. That'd be great. Should be part of PE GCSE coursework. I did well in PE, so I could be a PE teacher. Not that I have the build for it, of course. Eden captain. I'm thinking of captaining Eden Hazard. That is my logical thought process. My Harry Kane head says go with Harry Kane, though, still. Sorry, I've got a hair that was floating around in my eye. FPL helps with maths, business studies, investments. If you're going to look at it like that, then FIFA Ultimate Team, that's got a market. That could be business studies. Football Manager. There's loads of ways they could make it more interesting, couldn't they? But this is for guys. How would you make it more interesting for girls? Like, less... Not that girls don't like football. Sexist alarm, sexist alert, sorry. There are lots of girls in the world that like football. We have some girls that watch the stream. Sorry, Maria, if you rewatch this later. Sorry, women can like football. My bad. Anyway. Siraj says, who is the captain? Have you decided yet? Probably Eden Hazard. Probably. Jeff Holt's got to pick up Maria. Hopefully she's not absolutely battered, but if it's anything like my Christmas party, she is. She sends her drunken love. Got to go settle her down. Good luck with that. Good luck. Jan Ivor Jacobson is going for Eden Hazard. What about FPL tips? He uses other people's tips. You know what? To a certain extent, we all read or watch other people's stuff. Some of the ideas I have aren't all my own. I'm not going to lie. Some of them, someone will say it in this chat, and then I'll go, yes, that guy is on the money, and I will then kind of adopt it as my own thought process as well. As long as you're not just deliberately ripping off content and not putting any thought into it yourself. As long as you come up with your own original ideas. For instance, I haven't seen many people say Mahrez isn't going to continue scoring the way he does. So that is kind of like what I want to see from other people, making calls that you don't see everybody making. Because when you look at stats, you're going to see something different than someone else. So that's all I want people to do, really. What's my plans for my team? Transfer-wise, I have no idea. I've not even really had time to look at my team, unfortunately. Baby scans, because we're expecting flat viewing, so you know. Chaos. Wow, JNO, did you just assume things about different genders in 2017? It's almost 2018. It'll be fine in 2018. I think we're going to change. We're just going to be like, you know what? Just assume away. It doesn't have to be such a big deal. But yes, I did. Paul Giddy, I'm going to captain Hazard. Another Hazard captain. Top million, get a shirt saying I finish in the top million. Or FPL is bigger achievement than the uni degree. Maybe not necessarily the uni degree one, because unis might not like that. But that would be cool. Will Southampton park the bus? Can they park the bus? Are they good enough to do that? Siraj, finally a stream where we're having the same captain. Will we though? Will we? Because I have a habit of doubting my captain choice all the way up until the deadline. Now watch Kane score a brace against City. You know what? It's likely, isn't it, Paul? If I don't captain him, it's likely. Siraj says, I hope Kane scores 10. Even if I don't captain him, City need to lose. TB Football Analysis. Describe Fantasy Premier League in 3 words or phrases. And if you're to buy a Fantasy Premier League tips at Christmas present, what would it be? Oh, jeez, Christ, TP. If I had to buy him a Christmas present, I would buy him a ban from YouTube. That would be my gift to him. Or at least ban him from doing FPL. Make him someone else's problem. 3 words. Filthy, copywriting, scam artist. Scam artist being 1 word. Florence Sandu, I'm hoping Son has an amazing game week, because I think Son's a good differential for us. Does FPL Tips hate fan? To be honest, all creators that I have spoken to, including FPL Tips, do not like Fantasy Premier League tips. Desiree Charija throwing down the gauntlet. He's 21 points behind me. He says the end of the game week he'll be 5 points above me. Let's see what happens. FPL related New Year's resolution, or I don't know. Try not to try not to wildcard early, because I don't like my team, and when I didn't like my team last time, I wildcarded early, which worked out, but I don't think it generally works out. JNO, it's fine, it was a mistake. You know what? I'm going to make plenty more mistakes in my time. I've made bigger mistakes on stream before, so you know. Gordon Gilbert, he reckons Hazard might take the handbrake off the bus. I would love to see that. Having another beer, wonder if it will change my mind. Alcohol can do that. In before JNO transfers in and captains someone called Scott Pope. If there was a Scott Pope for Bants, I'd bring him into my side, because I've mentioned him so many times that he should be in my side, but he doesn't exist. Ismail Mayet says his only worry is Kane can score 5 goals if he wants to. I'd like to think Man City's defence will stop him scoring 5, but we'd see. TB Football Analysis think you should be able to design and manage your avatar. I think that would be pretty sick. Or at least put your own photo in. It would be nice to see people's photos. TP Football Analysis deliberately bringing up Fantasy Premier League tips because he knows it winds me up. J Rocket is the one with the robot voice. Siraj feels bad because FPL tips are higher in the ranking than him. FPL tips isn't a robot, just for the record. Fantasy Premier League tips is. What mistake did you make exactly? Let's not talk about mistakes. Chaos. Stop bringing up history. It's all in the past. Jeno, why didn't you get a Man United defender? Who knows? Like, I'm happy with me. I'm happy with Otamendi. I brought in Monreal because I think Jones was out at the time. I think that's the only reason Jones isn't there instead. TB Football Analysis. Only mistake I've seen you do on the stream is say Ayush is black instead of Ayush is back. Yes, that was a mistake. Are we going to have a little section now where we go over my mistakes? Because I have said the N word because people said it to me first, and then my wife asked me what was happening, and I told her, but I hadn't muted my microphone, so I told her someone had called me the N word, and then yeah. So there's been other mistakes. Thank you for the compliment about the dancing. I believe in Pope, he's a godsend. Some would call that blasphemy. Chaos, I'm happy with me. Very big-headed JNO. Yeah, that is the problem. I think he also plays off the fact, TP, that his name is very similar to FPL Tips' name, so, you know. Anyway, guys, I think we are going to call it there because I do have work tomorrow morning, unfortunately. So thank you guys so much for joining the stream as always. 1 minute and 30 in. We've been around 40 people watching for the entire time. So thank you so much. Sorry, I don't know why that was put for review. So TP Football Analysis, your comment has just gone up. But anyway, before we sign off, as always, various links in the description if you do want to support the channel. Also, new merchandise for Christmas, although I'm not 100% sure you'd get it for Christmas now. Check that. I might check it myself. But yeah, we have the Join the Flock t-shirt, so check that out. And also, you could sponsor the stream, support the channel in any other way if you can, of course. No need to. Otherwise, just like the video, share it, especially when I put it live as a replay. Thank you guys so much for all the support for this entire year, to be fair. 4,000 plus subscribers. Fantastic going into Christmas. So thank you guys so much. If you aren't part of a stream until New Year, thank you so much. Have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. I've been JNO. This has been FPL Today. And remember, it's all about the game.